Want to control your 3D printer remotely? Stay tuned to find out how. Hey guys, and welcome. So let's get started. We're going to be using OctoPrint to control our printer remotely. OctoPrint is installed on a Raspberry Pi. There are other options, but we'll be using the Raspberry Pi 3. And it provides us with a web interface to control our 3D printer with. In my case, I'm going to be controlling an Ender 3 Pro. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make our way over to the OctoPrint site, which I will leave in the description below for you. And we're going to download the latest image and unzip it. Once unzipped, we're going to open up Etcher, and we're also going to plug in a memory card that we're going to use on our Raspberry Pi. We're then going to use Etcher to put this image onto the memory card. Once complete, we will need to go into the memory card itself. So if you don't see it straight away, you may need to eject the card and plug it back in. Once plugged back in, open up the memory card and navigate your way to the OctoPi WPA supplicant.txt file. You need to open this file in Notepad++ or something similar. If you open this in TextEdit on Macs or Notepad on Windows, you will corrupt the file and you'll have problems when booting the Pi up and trying to connect to Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So it is recommended by the makers of OctoPrint to use something like Notepad++. Once you've got the supplicant document open, scroll down to the WPA part and you want to remove the hash or pound symbol, and you need to type in your Wi-Fi name and your Wi-Fi password here. And once done, save the file and unplug your memory card, put it into your Raspberry Pi, and then connect the Raspberry Pi to your printer and power it up. Once you found the IP address of the Pi, you're going to need an application such as Putty to SSH to the Pi. Once you have all this in order, you're going to plug the IP address into Putty and you're going to log in with the username being Pi and the password being Raspberry. Once logged in, we're going to run the command sudo raspi-config. I will link that command in the description as well. Type in Raspberry again when it prompts for the password. Here we've got a few options. We can change the password, update the time zone, and change our host name if we want to from octopi.local to something that's more easier for us to understand. Once you're done here, we can save that up, and next step we will go over to our web browser. And the same IP address that we used in Putty, we're going to plug into the web browser. And once there, you should now be looking at your OctoPrint home screen. The first time we do this, we're going to be prompted with a setup wizard. Once you see the setup wizard, click on next. In my case, I'm going to be disabling most things because this is just a test, but I'm sure you can read through and make your own decision on whether you want the following enabled or disabled. So I'm going to disable access control for now. We're going to disable usage tracking, and I'm going to run a quick connectivity test first to make sure we're connected to the internet, and then I'll disable it. And finally, we've got the plugin blacklist. Once that's all set up there, we can set up the profile for our printer. As I mentioned before, I'm using an Ender 3 Pro, so this is what I'll use for the name. And the only other thing that we really need to do right now is set our print and bed volumes. Again, on the Ender 3, we have 220 by 220 by 250, so I'll use these details. And once done, we'll click next and hit finish. Give it a second, and then we're going to reload So we've actually got lucky this time. We actually have an update, and as this has popped up, I may as well show you the update process. It's fairly simple. So we're simply going to click on update, click on proceed, and then wait for it to finish, and we should be up to date with the latest version. So now this is something I didn't know, but the latest version actually requires you to have some access control, so you will need to select a username and password in order to continue. The last part for us to do is going to be clicking on connect, so that OctoPrint connects over to our printer. Once that's established its connection, we're going to click on the control tab and play around with the controls a little. As always guys, I just want to thank you very much for watching. If you found this video useful, please give it a little like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks, bye.